What is the one thing dearest to us? If you think it is money, food, shelter, or connections, you are wrong. All of these can be taken away from us, and we will still find a way to survive. But what about freedom? Do you know what it feels like to have your very existence being handed over to somebody else? You probably don't. But for these guys, there is nowhere to escape. Today, we will talk about a topic really close to my heart. Why have humans failed to understand animals? For centuries, our minds have been manipulated with the illusion of power, lies, and greed. So much that we think exploiting animals is necessary for our survival. While it may seem like hypocrisy and discrimination against animals is the real problem here, but I like to believe that there is more to this than we can see. Let me introduce you to the concept of utility versus function, in this case, of animals. What I'm about to share with you is very important, so pay attention, okay? Getting this right is equal to, let's say, taking a giant leap in understanding animals. Before we get into the details, let's lay down the definitions. Utility versus function. It's quite simple, the difference, because one is the ability to satisfy a need versus the ability to perform a task. Probably heard of this before, and you may think, haha, boring. But stay with me. I'll show you why these concepts are far from obvious when it comes to our relationship with animals. Definitions done. Here's a quiz. In the context of utility, what need do you think an animal satisfies? That's easy. We use them for milk, leather, honey, silk, wool, eggs. And what do you think their function would be? Well, isn't it providing us with all of these products their function itself? Well, no. An animal's function is much larger than what we see on the surface. Livestock like cows, pigs, chicken, sheep, and goats, as well as wild bees, birds, insects, and even butterflies, have played and continue to play a significant role in our ecosystem. Their function is so mighty and diverse that I cannot possibly cover it in this video. But let's just say they're extremely efficient at bringing balance to the world, regenerating land, pollinating the foods we consume, and cleaning the air we breathe are just some of the functions we know of. Without them performing these tasks or functions, which they were created and built to do, we would completely lose the balance that we expect and need from nature. I don't make the rules. Let's get to what are we doing wrong. When industrialization came along, we began domesticating animals on a mass scale, robbing them of their true purpose. Their natural function was ignored, and we quickly replaced them with man-made technology and innovation, making animals completely redundant and reducing them to sheer commodities that we raise, slaughter, and sell for profit. And that, my friends, in my perspective, is the real reason why we have failed to understand animals. And you know what the sad part is? Most of us don't even address animals as someone. We see them and treat them as something, and that's frustrating. Well, that's the long and short of what I had to say today. Hey, if you are getting any value out of this video, please leave a like below. Go do it now. For those of you who still aren't very clear on the concepts of utility and function, stick around. I have something exciting. I think this might help. The easiest way to understand a concept is to find a familiar analogy. But before that, quickly summarizing the two concepts. Utility is about satisfying a need, functionality is about performing a task. Now for the analogy, to understand the problem better. We have another quiz. So let's think of a relationship based on mutual trust, respect, and love. Say our mothers and us, yes? Next, let's list down some of the needs and tasks that are part of this relationship with our mothers. Let's say they give birth, which in itself is a miracle and the greatest gift of life for us. They nourish us with milk from their own bodies. They starve so we can eat. They stay up and sing us lullabies. They go broke but dress us in good clothes. They break their backs but cook and clean for us. They teach us our first words, a new language, and they even put a roof over our heads when we can barely take our first steps. So, which ones of these are needs that they fulfill, and which ones of them are tasks they perform? Any takers? Come on, keep your feelings aside and take an objective outsider look at this. Can you? Can you? Well, if you think about it, the lines are quite blurred. But the kind of relationship we have with our mothers makes them the only living being with maximum utility to us. Tell me I'm wrong. I hope you see where this stupid analogy is going. It's not only ungrateful but also cruel to think of our loved ones from a pure transactional and utilitarian lens. This is not how relationships work. We don't torture our family and friends because they are useful to us. Neither do we replace them with other gadgets and dump them when they stop performing certain tasks. You know, my point of bringing this analogy is to highlight the hypocrisy on this matter. Humans can very well see beyond utility when it comes to our own species, but animals we exploit. Yes, I am comparing human beings to animals. And why shouldn't we? Both have emotions, both are mortal, both feel joy, and both feel pain. Treating animals as inferior to us is a sign of ignorance and disrespect to nature. To me, it's absolutely intolerable because we do not live in a world that is solely created for us. We share this planet with a billion other animals that we are supposed to coexist with. As human beings, our function is to create harmony on this planet and not the opposite. So, if this helped you understand our fellow earthlings slightly better than you did before, please leave a comment down below. I would highly appreciate that. Stay tuned for more monologues and click my face on the screen to subscribe. I think over here. Yeah, it should be here.